Perfect. All right. So, disease and contagion. This is week 8. So this is especially relevant right now because we're in the middle of a global pandemic. So I just thought I'd kind of go over what your body does really to help to fight these, invaders, these foreign invaders, these pathogens that enter into your body. And so respiratory diseases are some of the most common infectious diseases, and they kill the most people worldwide. But how do these infectious diseases spread? Well, you can spread through water contamination by drinking, not clean water, or swimming in water that has these pathogens in it. So cholera, typhoid, polio, Hep A, and Hep E all can spread through water contamination. Through bodily fluids. So Ebola is an example of that. That can be spread through bodily fluids such as blood, saliva. And then there's sexual activity as well. You got AIDS. Ebola can also be spread to that, right? If other bodily fluids are exchanged during that process, and so that can also help spread these infectious diseases. And then breathing droplets, whether are coughed or sneezed or otherwise sprayed, can also result in the spread of these diseases. So coronavirus, influenza virus, the common flu, streptococcus, these are all examples of ways that can be spread by sneezing or breathing on someone that, or breathing from someone that has these pathogens. And then something as simple as breathing the air that someone has exhaled from an infected person. So measles, tuberculosis, chickenpox, these are highly infectious diseases. And so something as simple as breathing the air of someone that has these can help spread all these diseases as well. So what does our body do to help mitigate or help fight these pathogens? Well, we have this, immune system that helps us with that. And so once those pathogens enter your body, the immune system helps recognize these infections as a foreign invader. So the body recognizes that this is not part of our central system. And so what it does is it calls on white blood cells to gather and attack this invader. After a few days, these subtypes of white blood cells called lymphocytes can recognize the pathogen and start to produce antibodies for it. What these antibodies do is they smother or they bind the invader, and they label the invader to recruit more immune responses. So these lymphocytes are incredibly important in recognizing the invader as well as starting to combat it with the production of antibodies. Some lymphocytes then transform into memory cells. And so if you have an infectious pathogen in your body and you have successfully fought that disease, let's say like the common flu or something like that, now you have antibodies through lymphocytes that turn into memory cells. So that way down the line, if you do have another infectious disease that comes in that's really similar, your body can then produce these cells and recognize it immediately and doesn't have to take that lag time of producing antibodies itself. So these memory cells transmit information about the invader to its new daughter cells for years to come. And if reinfection occurs, these cells are triggered to begin the antibody production cycle right away. And most of these memory cells contribute to the long-term immunity of a particular disease, depending on what we're working with. But again, many infectious agents often mutate. We're seeing this with the different variants of the coronavirus. And these mutations can occur to the point where the body may no longer recognize it. And although you have memory cells to help combat these pathogens, oftentimes if the pathogen has mutated so much that the memory cells will not do its job correctly, and you will have no immunity to the new mutant. And so acquired immunity does not last forever. The duration of your acquired immunity through these memory lymphocyte cells is really unknown for many diseases. But for any new diseases that arise like coronavirus, it's definitely hard to tell exactly how long your immunity will last. These are definitely some questions that we're starting to answer right now with the SARS coronavirus. Is how is it transmitted, right? We know that it's transmitted through coughing or breathing or sneezing on someone. Is there an incubation period? How long is that period? Some people show no symptoms at all. Some people do show symptoms right away. Generally, we've learned, right, between 2 to 14 days is the incubation period. And then other questions like, can you spread it if you're symptomatic? Can you spread it if you're asymptomatic? All these different questions that need to be answered through research and dedication to the science. And so specifically when talking about SARS coronavirus, it has an infectious pre-symptomatic stage. You can spread it while you have symptoms or in a few days after you recover. But most people really show asymptomatic will show no symptoms at all, but these guys can be still spreading the coronavirus. So that's really all I have for you guys today. Super simple, not much on disease and contagion. Next week, what's due is your algae beads report 1. So I want you guys to send me a worksheet on pages 49 and 50. Send me photos of that worksheet in your lab manual. It should look like, see if I can show you guys what exactly this looks like. So again, we talked about this page, right? 49, all the questions, they go all the way down to page 50. So either put that in a Word document or just send me a photo of these questions answered. If you're going to send me a picture, make sure it's clear enough that I can read everything. But that's the report for the algae beads due next week before class starts. You want to enter the data in the table, you want to make the graph, then you want to answer all the result questions as well as the thought questions on pages 49 and 50. And then exam 2 is also next week. It's going to be on Canvas again, exactly like it was last time. This one's going to cover lectures from weeks 4 through 8, everything we've done up until today, and then between the last time where the exam 1 ended. And then again, it will be available at 12 noon until 1:40. You'll have 30 minutes to do the exam. Again, if you started after 1:10, you won't have enough time to finish. You won't have the full 30 minutes, so make sure you're watching that. But that's really all I have for you guys today. If you guys have any questions, I'm here to stick around. If not, you guys are free to go.
I had a quick question.
Sure.
For the algae beads lab, are we supposed to be taking the depth? Is that daily or is that by week?
It's going to be, so you took it 3 hours, 6 hours, and 12 hours after you started it, and then you're going to take it once a day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
So you should have around 12 days on there based on the data sheet on page 49. You should have around 12 days of data.